Today's show is probably going to have some spoilers for Arrow and the Tomorrow People, and maybe Agents of Shield. So if you haven't seen those shows for this week yet, guys, wait until tomorrow or the next day to check this show out. Thanks.
Excellent strength and perfect clarity is the 5 by 5.
It's time for
It's Fanboy Weekly for all you geeks, nerds, and blurs. Let's get our geek on.
Welcome back. It's the 5 by 5 and it is Fanboy Weekly. Thank you guys for joining me tonight, today, this afternoon, whenever you're listening to it, I guess. Thank you. So where do we start? I didn't do a Fanboy Weekly show last week as I'm kind of in midweek because I was waiting for Agents of Shield. I went past. I'm like, let's wait another week because I knew Arrow was debuting today. I knew the Tomorrow People was coming on today. So I'm like, well, I'm just gonna wait. Then I'll do everything on Wednesday. Which that brings us to Fanboy Weekly today, where I will be giving some reviews. We're doing shows only, no fanboy throwback. Just about these 3 television shows that I am absolutely enjoying, even though the 2 just debuted today. So let's start with Agents of Shield. Agents of Shield, 3 episodes in, and it's still getting better. The quirkiness has been, I wouldn't say it's completely worked out. I'm still not too sold on the Fitzsimmons characters. I like them, but I'm not sold on them and what their place is in the Marvel Universe. I understand what they're doing on the team, but not feeling it in the Marvel Universe. But it's not up to me. But the quirkiness is still there, and they're ironing out the kinks. And I think just like they say on the show that the team is maturing, they're getting to know each other, they're starting to trust each other a little bit more, even though I think underlying they know Sky's up to something, so it could be applied. I think it's who's going to betray who first. Is she going to ultimately betray them to the rising tide, which if you read some of the blogs, they're saying when, not if, or is Agent Coulson going to call her out before she's able to do something? In this episode we get to see, we thought she was going to betray, and I kind of thought, then I'm like, it's too early on in the series for her to betray. They haven't developed enough for a storyline of that magnitude. But we thought, we was thinking when she was talking to the character Quinn, who, if you remember, he was the husband to Jennifer Love Hewitt's character on The Ghost Whisperer. And I always liked that show. And so you think that she's betraying Shield and Agent Coulson and the team, but she's not. She's just buying time to get him to talk more. And then Agent Coulson and I think it's Agent Ward, maybe I forget his name, gets to come in and play the cavalry. What Ward does. So that part was good. They had found this. It's so funny when the show came on. You see all these cars flying up in the air, and to me, it was kind of reminiscent of X-Men: The Last Stand, when Magneto is throwing the cars all over the place. And so I tweeted out, I didn't know Magneto was going to be in this episode, but it turned out to be this gravity force made from some gravity-based type element that this one scientist has found and developed and weaponized it. And so that was the gist of this particular episode. And they thought there was a traitor in Shield, but he was telling on himself to get close to the Quinn character so he could destroy what he was doing with his research. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. I did say that he was going to early on to myself. I was like, he's gonna. This is what he's doing. I knew it was a setup. I kind of figured that out. And also, they've made they've added another storyline because at the end when Coulson shoots the doctor and he falls into the middle of this element, this gravity element. At the very end, a hand comes out. So I'm like, oh, there's a storyline. They're going to deal with him later on. The big part for me in this particular episode was the exchange between Agent May, who I love. I think I love her character, and Agent Coulson, when they're talking about, and they always say these little slick things under their breath to him about him being dead, because she made a point. He said something about him being rusty, but he still had it, and she's like, "Yeah, that's why you died," So it's like, I'm leaning toward what I've read in the blog, what they're saying online. The Agent Coulson really isn't a person. He's this LMD, which is a life model decoy that Shield used in the comic books, and Joss Whedon has brought it onto the small screen. Hopefully, maybe, we don't know quite yet. But if that's true, that's going to be developed. But then I said this in my first review of Agents of Shield, that if this is the case, then maybe he's going to be the Vision in Avengers 2. Because also he tweeted out this week. Let me correct myself. He didn't tweet. He retweeted something another person tweeted out. Jesse Ham on Twitter said, "Can we just skip Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and jump straight to a Vision and the Scarlet Witch show starring Clark Gregg and Monica Bellucci?" And Clark Gregg, the actor who plays Agent Coulson, he retweeted it. So everybody on Twitter and the fanboys lost their mind because somebody alluded to the fact, oh, he said he's going to be Vision. To me, that's if this is the case, I think it's a natural progression. It makes sense with the movie universe and the television universe. But some of the fanboys didn't like it. They're like, it didn't mean nothing. Somebody who's not even affiliated with the show, they're just putting that out there, and they don't have the right to do that. And they kind of go crazy stuff. But I thought that was I think Clark Gregg tipped his hat to that comment because it makes sense that his character will transcend if he happens to be a life model decoy into the Vision. I would love to see that. Well, he has the face. It kind of has that very emotionally a draped face, and like the Vision does. I guess that's kind of mean, but no, I like Clark Gregg. But so keep on watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm enjoying it. I'm really, really excited to see where the show is going to go in the future, in the next a few episodes. I don't remember what the premiere was. The preview was for next week's episode, and I'm sure they'll do something fun for Halloween. We'll see. Check it out. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC on Tuesdays, 7 o'clock Eastern or Central. I think I'm Central. We'll be right back.
Podcasting straight to your MP3 player. Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
Take
guess I should say Happy Amell's Day. But no, they were saying that today because of the return of Arrow, the second season of the hit CW show Arrow, based off the DC Comics comic book character, and the new show that debuted tonight right after Arrow, The Tomorrow People, and consequently, Stephen Amell is related to the lead actor Robbie Amell in the Tomorrow People. They're fraternal cousins, and I'll have some of this stuff on the blog at recycleblogtalk.blogspot.com. I'll have the videos up so you can see. So cute. You can tell they're really close. Where they used to be close and now they're close again. On the same network, back-to-back shows. I don't know how the Tomorrow People is going to work. It's a reboot of a 70s British kind of sci-fi television show, and there's also a radio only show, but basically it's about a kid who starts having, they think he's a little psychotic, he's a little crazy, and how they refer to it in the show is called breaking out. It's when the next step in human evolution to Homo superior, and he starts breaking out and obtaining all these powers. In the show, they kept referring to the three T's: telekinesis, teleportation, and telepathy. Some of my most favorite superpowers. If I had a superpower, I'd probably want to have telepathy, but the kind of telepathy that you could change people's minds and then hear people's thoughts. Telekinesis would be a close second. Teleportation, what you gonna do with that? Just kind of bounce all over the place anyhow. But he is special because he has the genetics, or what they're saying, of his father, which is that we don't know his father's either dead or he's alive. They're kind of throwing that kind of storyline in there. Where's his father at? But he was the leader, and this kid is supposed to be Stephen Jameson is his name. He's supposed to be the savior of the Tomorrow People. He was able to use his powers when he finally realized he had these powers in this kind of police scientific lab where he wasn't supposed to be able to use it, but he could, and the others couldn't. Then I was so happy to see this guy, and if you guys have seen it, Mark Pellegrino. He scares me, but I absolutely love him. He played the most convincing, up-to-date Lucifer. He played Lucifer on Supernatural, another CW show, go figure. And also he, I don't know if he probably isn't known because they killed him in Being Human on the first or second season. He was the cop, and he was a sire to the character on the vampire character on that show. But they give him all these kind of insidious roles, and now he's playing Dr. Jedediah Price, which happens to be the brother of the missing father of Stephen Jameson, which is this new Tomorrow People guy that's breaking out into his powers. And then they have, he's the bad guy, but yet still he's related, and then he interjects him into his life. And what I didn't want to see at the end, that this guy Stephen, the new Tomorrow People dude, he joined him. But you do see previews to where he's fighting against them in his own way within what do they call it? The Ultrons, I think they called them, in his own way. So hopefully this show will be good. I think it's kind of cool that Stephen Amell and Robbie Amell are related, and Ultras, they call Ultras. See how they're, I think it's cool that they're related, and hopefully this show will work. So the CW they went hard on the Supernatural. We have Supernatural, we have the Vampire Diaries, the originals, Arrow, and now the Tomorrow People. But enough about the younger Amell. Stephen Amell, my boy from Arrow, which I didn't want to like, not that I didn't want to like the show. I had my reservations. You have a character who's a bit player in the DC universe. He's been around for a very long time, but he's not a superpower. He's just super skilled. He's kind of like the Batman presence of Starlight City. And the season opener, it was kind of lukewarm. I wouldn't say it was like boom, bam, bam. They found Oliver in the island that he was on before he made it back to the States, and Felicity and Diggle find him, which I don't know how that was. How they both had to go. Diggle could have went by himself, but they also showed his vulnerability now. His best friend died as a result of his father's actions, and Tommy's father's Malcolm, and Stephen's mother Moya, their actions. And then he died saying that Oliver was a serial killer, and that kind of affected him. But he got over that once the New Hoods had kidnapped his sister. And then we get to see Colton Haynes as he hasn't turned into Speedy yet, but it's coming. He's on his own little kind of vigilante kick. What else happened in this show? Oh, and the appearance of Black Canary. We didn't get to hear a canary cry, and it was the scene that we've all seen from Comic-Con, with her battling these three thugs with this kind of battle stick. I thought it was a battle stick. I did notice that Laurel, even though this Black Canary supposedly is the sister and not Dinah Laurel Lance, which is Oliver's ex-girlfriend, that's not dead. The sister was dead. Supposedly died with him on the boat. But anyhow, have you noticed her hair got lighter? It's a little more blonde this year. I'm like, oh, so they're still going to work that, because a couple of Fanboy Weekly shows before, I said that one of the producers said that Dinah Laurel Lance is Black Canary. So now they need to get from A to Z, so to speak, with that storyline. So, and then the addition of Summer Glau, she looks good, and her character is kind of ruthless. And Oliver's stepdad, I was glad to see him back in this episode. Like I said, it was just lukewarm. Wasn't anything flashy. Next week, I think Bronze Tiger is going to be introduced as one of the villains of this season. And then waiting to see I forget his name, and I said it a couple weeks ago, the next villain. But I guess we'll deal with what we have to deal with right now. So Bronze Tiger's going to be next week, and like I said, this is just kind of a lukewarm season opener. Couple flashbacks, giving a little bit more history and how Oliver became Oliver the Vigilante, Oliver the Green Arrow. I think he never mentioned Green Arrow. Is it going to be like the kind of Superman thing? You can be Green Arrow, but you can't say you are. Like Superman could, like in Smallville, he could be Superman, but we can never see him in the outfit, completely in the outfit, because of copyright infringement. Who knows? But that is about all we have for this week of Fanboy Weekly. I thank you guys for joining me tonight. We'll be back next week. Probably going to do a Bite Me Cast Sunday morning, possibly, because Sleepy Hollow is getting very good. Supernatural came back yesterday, and Coven debuted tonight as well. So, got a lot of stuff to talk about. Dawn, Nikki, and I will be back on Tuesday. Thank you guys for joining. It's Fanboy Weekly. I'm your host, David, and we'll see you next time.
Check us out on Facebook at The 5x5, or tweet us at The 5x5, or go to Recycle Blog Talk for past shows. Thanks for tuning in.